monster. Imagine that someone paid to protect children is rather the one to kill the children. This is the horrifying story of Jocelyn Ortega, the nanny who murdered the children she was paid to protect. Before the tragedy, Kevin and Marina Krim were living the dream life. Kevin, a successful digital media executive. Marina, a former finance professional turned stay-at-home mom. Their 3 young children, Lucia 6, Leo 2, and baby Nessie, were the light of their world. Like many Manhattan families, the Krims hired a nanny to help juggle their hectic schedules. Jocelyn Ortega came recommended, a 50-year-old Dominican woman who'd lived in the U.S. For years, she seemed kind, experienced, and good with children. Everyone would trust an older woman more because of her motherliness and experience. No one knew what was building up beneath the gentle face. The stress, the envy, the troubled mind. It was a storm waiting to explode. Everything was good until Ortega's behavior slowly began to change. She grew quieter, more withdrawn. Marina noticed she looked tired, like she wasn't sleeping well, but nothing screamed danger. She had financial troubles. Ortega was drowning in debt, struggling to support her teenage son. She'd recently started seeing a therapist, and her family said she was not the same woman anymore. Despite concerns, Marina trusted her. The kids loved her, so she did everything to support Ortega instead of letting her go. That morning was ordinary. Marina left for swimming lessons with her youngest, Nessie. Leo and Lulu stayed behind with Ortega. It was a routine day, so there was no room for any worry until she returned. Marina returned home that afternoon and sensed something was wrong. The apartment was silent, too silent. She checked the rooms, and then she entered the bathroom. Lying in the tub were her children, Lucia and Leo, stabbed multiple times, lifeless, and beside them stood Ortega, holding the knife. Oh, you think Marina has seen the worst yet? No, Ortega wasn't done yet. She looked Marina in the eye, then plunged the blade into her own throat. This was one of the biggest crimes of the city. Police rushed to the scene, and one twist of fate, Ortega survived her suicide attempt and was hospitalized. Detectives immediately dived on investigation to get what might have caused such a gruesome act. Speaking to neighbors, friends, and Ortega's family, they learned about her growing resentment, her mental instability, and her belief that the Krims were making her feel worthless. But nothing justified what she did. She had no history of violence, no criminal record, yet she carried out an act so brutal, even seasoned detectives were shaken. It took nearly 6 years for the case to go to trial. Ortega pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. Her defense team painted a picture of a woman who had lost touch with reality, driven by psychosis. But prosecutors had another story, that it was premeditated murder. She had taken the children into the bathroom, closed the door, and one by one, ended their lives with a kitchen knife. You do not want to imagine what the kids went through. There was evidence that Lucia fought back. She had defensive wounds on her arms. Leo had no chance. The painful thing is, Ortega never showed remorse, never explained why. The courtroom was a battlefield of emotions. Marina and Kevin Krim sat through every gruesome detail, reliving their worst day, waiting for the jury to decide if Ortega was insane or evil. In April 2018, the verdict came. It was a huge relief to all the anticipating audience, especially the Krim family. Ortega was charged guilty on 2 counts of first-degree murder. She was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The judge called her pure evil. She now spends her days behind bars at Bedford Hills Correctional Facility. What about the Krim family? They turned their grief into purpose. They launched the Lulu and Leo Fund, a foundation that supports art programs for children and helps families heal through creativity. They also welcomed 2 more children into their family. What Jocelyn Ortega tried to destroy, the Krims rebuilt through love and courage. This wasn't just a story about a nanny. It was a story about trust broken, innocence lost, and the resilience of a family that refused to be defined by tragedy. Then the questions remain. What drives a person to commit the unthinkable? Can evil hide behind a friendly smile? The story of the killer nanny is just a reminder that sometimes the greatest monsters don't break in, they're already inside. Did you enjoy this story? Please like the video, Remember to subscribe to our channel for more of such stories.